To a report from the Council on American Islamic Relations, this has been a record year for anti-Muslim acts with more than 60 cases of harassment or vandalism reported. Let's now bring in Arsalan Iftikhar, senior editor of the Islamic Monthly and international human rights lawyer. Arsalan, good to have you back.
Always good to be with you, Victor.
So when you hear about this from CAIR, that this is a record year for anti-Muslim acts, what goes through your mind and to what do you attribute what we're seeing?
Well, I can attribute it to two words: Donald Trump. In the
So
aftermath.
wait, are you blaming Donald Trump for what we saw in Palm Springs? I mean,
Yes.
there's no
Yes.
connection yet.
Yes, I am. Politically, I am. Victor, what Donald Trump should know is that if you're going to replace the word Muslims with Jews and sound like a Nazi, then you probably shouldn't say it. You know, Governor Jeb Bush called him unhinged. Senator Lindsey Graham said that he could go to hell. Even Dick Cheney condemned Donald Trump for his rhetoric. And, you know, if we're trying to stay safe from ISIS, we need to not vote for Donald Trump because he is sadly disintegrating this gray zone of coexistence, which is exactly what ISIS wants. And again, we have to understand that just like we didn't blame all Christians when the Planned Parenthood shooter, who was a self-proclaimed Christian extremist, committed those acts of terrorism, so too should we not blame the entire Muslim community for the acts of a fringe either.
But, I mean, on the other side of that argument, all Muslims should not be blamed for the acts of the fringe, but you're blaming now Donald Trump for the acts that have not been connected to him.
No, I'm saying that his rhetoric is leading to these sorts of acts, Victor. If you replace Muslims with Jews or gays or Latinos or African Americans, all of whom Donald Trump has defamed, and if we saw a spike in anti any of those hate crimes, then yeah, the political rhetoric would directly tie to it. You know, we saw flyers being passed around in Alabama from the Ku Klux Klan chapter in Alabama, you know, saying that, help us get rid of radical Islam. Neo-Nazi websites, white supremacist websites have said that we've seen an increase in traffic and membership because of Donald Trump. So again, you know, we have to stop treating Donald Trump like a sideshow and take him very seriously with the words that he says, because it is going to have a real life impact on people who are going to be impacted by it here innocently in the United States.
Arsalan, I want to get your reaction to something I read that kind of stood out to me. The leader of a Muslim group in Connecticut, where there was a mosque that was shot at after the Paris attacks, he said this: the person who fired at our mosque didn't know us well. We have to do a better job of reaching out to people. I wonder, is that part of the solution? I don't know of another example where a minority group that is facing violence says it is then their job to change.
Yeah, you know, sadly, Victor, if you look at a lot of public opinion polls that have been conducted since September 11th, nearly 70% of Americans say that they don't know a Muslim at all, even though their doctor is probably a Muslim or their accountant's a Muslim, or, you know, they don't know that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali, Dave Chappelle, Ice Cube, Shaquille O'Neal, Dr. Oz, Fareed Zakaria from CNN are all Muslims, right? And it's all about the humanizing aspect of it. I tell people as a human rights lawyer that it's very hard to demonize people once they've been humanized too. And I think that that's what we've seen, for example, in the marriage equality debate. You know, you can be opposed to marriage equality, but most people probably have a gay cousin somewhere that humanizes the issue to them. And so I joke, I always say that I wish people had Muslim cousins, so we could be humanized to average Americans as well.
All right, Arsalan Iftikhar, always good to have you.
Likewise. Thanks, Victor.
Sure.